Thank you for having me.
Welcome to
and
the
Michael.
show. Great to see you guys. Here's Sean, you actually made your network TV debut on Late Night when I hosted Late Night.
I did, right here. February 5th, 2010.
Oh, really? You remember the date?
I'm very good with dates.
How do you remember the date?
So 2 days later, on February 7th, 2010, the New Orleans Saints, hometown team, won the Super Bowl.
Ah,
so
it's a big deal.
My appearance on Late Night was immediately forgotten by everyone in my life, everyone in my hometown. Yeah. I stood right there, and at the end of my set went, "Who dat?" The battle cry of the New Orleans Saints. No one remembered.
Oh, my God. Well, here you are now.
It's great to be back.
Michael, it's always good to see you, buddy. SNL was great, by the way, with Steve Martin last week and Martin Short.
Oh, man, isn't that crazy?
That was a great episode. This week you have Austin Butler and Lizzo.
Yes.
That's going to be a good show.
It's the Christmas show. It's the most
It's a big deal.
one. Yeah,
you produced Sean's special, and I want to get into that. But first, I have to talk about something that I saw. I follow you on Instagram.
Oh, so I'm very sorry.
And no, you always make me laugh, but I want to clarify something that happened between you and Questlove.
Oh, yeah. We should talk about this.
So the other week, so SZA was a musical guest on SNL.
Yes.
Okay? So here's what Michael posted.
Yeah.
It says, witnessed a cool celebrity moment backstage at SNL.
That's right. I did.
SZA was a musical guest, and she bet Dwayne Johnson, who was just hanging out backstage with a reporter from the New York Times, that she could beat him in an arm wrestling contest.
Sounds strange.
Natural.
It happened, yeah.
Right.
We're all laughing because we thought it was a joke, but she was dead serious.
Obviously.
She meant business.
She said if she won, the New York Times reporter had to stop doing their story about Dwayne and make it about her new album instead. And I kid you not, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson actually accepted the challenge. Needless to say, Rock beat SZA. And of course, the paper covered Rock. True story. So it's a rock, paper, scissors joke, a long walk.
It also really happened.
Yeah, right. What a long walk for that punchline, which I loved and I laughed at. And I know you like delete your Instagram so they don't live forever.
Yeah.
But Questlove posted it to preserve it.
Yes.
Did you know that Quest did that?
I had no idea. What happened was I found out that they covered this story on The Breakfast Club as actual gossip. and they attached Questlove's name to it. And I'm like, what? When did this happen?
Look at this. This is all the headlines. This is real. Look at this. SZA arm wrestled The Rock because at SNL, Questlove says true story.
Wait, what?
Questlove.
Wait, they think I did that?
They think it's you, like you witnessed it.
Oh, no, I was preserving your joke.
No. This is why I delete everything, because people think it's real.
I just wanted to make the record straight. Yeah.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Your posts are like the McRib. You know? They're here for a minute and then it's gone.
Yeah, it's just gone.
When are they coming back?
Yeah. When did you decide to do a special together? Michael, you produce it?
Well, Sean is being a little bit humble right now, but he always kind of had this reputation in New York City. If anybody that follows New York City comedy, he always had this reputation of being one of the killers, like just one of the absolute beasts at it, you know?
Absolutely.
So everyone kind of knew of him that maybe even he didn't know back, and I was one of those people.
You can tell how comfortable I am right now, having Michael say all this. Even though I appreciate it, thank you.
But I always asked him, I was like, man, I would love to do a special with you. And he started producing, he already produced one with 800 Pound Gorilla, right?
800 Pound Gorilla, yeah.
And he was like, man, I would love to, have you kind of, walk this in. And I was absolutely on board.
Is that right? Is that what you?
This feels like we're married.
Yeah.
Is that how you remember?
I mean, it's so you know.
What do you remember?
See, I remember more. We had this conversation like a few years ago. I was like, I want to do a special, and Michael, we're at the Comedy Cellar. You're having some drinks, you're having some fun, and suddenly he's like, I'm doing it. I'm producing your special. I say, great, let's do it. I'm doing it, and I'm running the hour next week at the Come See It, and he didn't show up. But busy man, I understood, no big deal. And then I see him like a month or two later. He's like, don't worry, I want to do it. I want to produce it. I'm like, let's do it. And then a pandemic hits. right?
Wow.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And then, you know, that happens.
All right, so that happened too.
You kind of forget every prior obligation you had up until that point. And then finally we just did it. 800-pound gorilla came to me and said, let's do it. I said, absolutely. And then one night I get a text from my manager who's like, hey, I'm talking with Michael's reps. He's in. He wants to produce it. I'm so excited. And then I see you a couple months later and you're like, I'm mad at you. Remember any of this?
Yes.
You were like, I'm mad at you, man. You're doing this. I hear you're doing a special. I want to produce it. I'm like, you are. I've been talking to your entire.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I've been telling your team
Yeah.
like it's months. You're producing this.
yeah, you're taking this. We're gonna do it. And you were like, oh, yep. Sorry, done. What do you want? I said, streaming. And you got it. And then you did it.
Yeah.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
I know. You got to film it. What's the beautiful theater?
Oh, Tipitina's in New Orleans.
Tipitina's.
Classic old. It's like an amazing music venue in the city, and I wanted to shoot it in the city where you knew it was in New Orleans without, you know, I didn't want to put like, hey, look, a Mardi Gras float going by, or like,
You don't want to be too.
no, like, hey, look, we're all eating po' boys, and oh, a special's about to happen.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to do that. You
we
want to keep
wanna-
it subtle.
Right.
But even your accent, did you have more of a New Orleans accent before you were in the city, or?
Oh, so yeah, no, I often get acquired. People ask, where is my New Orleans accent? The thing you're thinking about, that most people are thinking about when it comes to a New Orleans accent, that like, oh, you better watch out, they got, we found a 12-foot gator on the lawn, cut him open, his belly full of live crawdads. They was in there hiding from Katrina.
That's
Like
exactly
that.
right. That's New Orleans.
That like, oh man, the other day I got pulled over by the sheriff and he was in a boat. I said, Sheriff, how you got that boat on land? He said, I ain't on land, boy. You got your damn truck in the bayou again.
That's exactly right.
Like that.
That's what we like.
Right. That's a more Western Louisiana.
Yes.
Like that's Lafayette, you know, Thibodeau.
I was about to throw beads at you.
I think like a true New Orleans accent sounds far more like an actual, like a New York accent.
Really?
Like if you took like that New York guy, it's like, hey, you know, move it. What are you doing? Get out of my way. Where you going? What do you want? Well, you get out of my face. What do you want from me? I'm going my way. You go yours. What? Take that guy and give him a few Valium, right? And once those Valium take effect, now you got like a legit New Orleans accent. Just sort of like, where you going? Ah, that's crazy. How come? You know? What you do? Like a true New Orleans accent sounds far more like just like a sedated firefighter from Brooklyn. Oh, they got a fire over there? Oh, that's crazy, dude. Oh, I gotta fight it? Yeah, that's all right.
I want to show everyone a clip. By the way, I also want to say I love the length of this comedy special. I appreciate that as a fan of comedy specials and comedians. This is like an hour and a half.
Hour and 27 minutes, but there's a narrative, there's a story.
Some quality comedy you can watch right now, stream on Peacock right now. I want to show a clip. Here's Sean's special, #1. Take a look.
My parents were born the same year, next door to one another in the Lower Ninth. They grew up knowing each other since birth, and they started dating when they were like 14, okay? And it ruined me, destroyed me. Their relationship turned me into a little romance bitch, you know? Just weeping all the time. Like a fatter version of Cupid, just firing hot dog darts that would just deflect off of every woman I fell in love with every 48 hours. You understand? You think being ghosted is bad? Try not getting a response to handwritten poetry over and over again.
That's exactly right. You think that's hard. Michael Che, Sean Patton, everybody. Sean Patton, #1, is streaming right now on Peacock.
Hey, hey.